Dude, I'm not kidding. Regardless of the accommodations, it's not even a joke. Regardless of the accommodations, like going to the DNC actually kind of like opened my eyes to a lot of things. Journalists are actually being turned away now. Shit show. Press area way over capacity. Just saw Ta-Nehisi Coates get turned away. Yo, it's like, it's real casual like that. Everyone who's like pro-Palestine just accidentally happens to be getting clapped at the DNC. I'm not even kidding. I know it's like, it's not deliberate. It's not by design. I know that they're not doing it on purpose. But it is funny that like anyone who has criticized the DNC on the Palestine front is just like, hey, by the way, sorry. You just can't be in this location. How is that? I don't even think it's on purpose. I don't think it's on purpose. I think it actually is like overbooked. This Kellyanne Conway got let through a staff door. Well, I guess we don't have that kind of riz, dude. We are not as valuable to the Democratic Party as Kellyanne Conway. Jesus Christ. This is going to, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something right now. This is going to piss off the media so goddamn much. If you think like the New York Times fact check stuff was crazy the other day when they were like, Donald Trump's penis size is actually a thick 8. Like, you know, fact check. Donald Trump's penis size. What is this? Packed to the rafters? Why'd you send this to me? Anyway, my point is, they're gonna be so much more aggressive in terms of how they're operating. Here, if you want commentary streams, yeah, let's do it. Dude, I'm Lisan Al-Gaib, baby. Call me Lisan Al-Gaib the way I have the foresight, the way I have the vision.
It's an interesting
Bro, tell me how this wasn't the best move of all time. Okay? We were gonna be sitting around, thumb up our ass, like waiting for an interview that was never gonna be able to happen. Okay, we were literally going to be in there. Instead, I'm in my sweet ass hotel room. I get to go to sleep early. I get to react. And I will say this, I wasn't like moderating my position when I was in there. I wasn't like saying anything that I normally wouldn't say. But I will say this, okay? Bro is coping. Is bro coping? No, I cannot pay attention. In that room, it was like virtually impossible. It was virtually impossible to pay attention. I think my commentary wasn't as good. You were yourself the whole way and got free interviews out of it. Yeah. I never compromised on my values. I never compromised on my views. But honestly, that shit was not easy. Like it was like I mean, obviously I was down to even f around to a degree where like I straight up played the Kamala Harris wants to vaccinate your children in the ass song in front of the DNC handlers that I had. They were like standing in the corner. I mean, they weren't handlers, but they were very nice, to be fair. But I do think it's true, but it does kind of display how out of touch the DNC are with your world and influence. Would they have done that with any mainstream media, possibly with far less reach? No, they would not. But remember, the mainstream media pays for those slots. Like they have to pay for it. So it's a little... I mean, it like that's what the New York Times guy was saying. I would never pay for that. And I think they were kicking everyone out of those booths. You weren't at a permanent press spot. Yeah, I'm sure they just like cleared everybody out. It just sucks. Especially because there was literally another space that I could go to, but they were just like, no, you can't go there. New York Times guy was trying to tell you that this event wasn't as big until Joe got out and all the VIPs are rolling in. No, he was talking about something different. He was talking about the influencers that they worked with. They were saying that they were having a hard time getting influencers to work with. And I think that's the reason why they got like the shittiest crop of influencers, maybe. I don't know. That's what he was trying to say. Look, it worked out. Why did they take your credentials? They didn't. I have them still here. They didn't take my DNC credentials. They took my credentials to the floor. To that floor specifically, right after I said, oh, well, they didn't take our credentials away. Anyway, all right, let's hear what Mark Kelly has to say.
That Americans who have made the ultimate sacrifice are suckers and losers.
I'm also going to order my chicken wings.
If we fall for that again, and make him the commander-in-chief, the only suckers would be us. Kamala Harris knows that standing with our allies means standing up for Americans. She'll keep modernizing our military to support our troops and to support our veterans like our next Vice President, Tim Walz. The world laughs at Trump, literally. But folks, it is not funny. When he was president, that meant the world was laughing at us. The threats we face are too serious. The sacrifices our service members make are too sacred. The alliances we've spent decades building are too critical. That's what's at stake now. And the choice isn't even close. But in Arizona and nationwide, this election will be.
Why did the political director that was trying to help get waved off by her
rockets into
handler? That wasn't my handler. That was Daniela. She's like with the DNC on the marketing side, like on the marketing team. And I don't think she got waved off. I think she just thought it was a random person. I didn't know what the guy was trying to say either, though.
No country is better than ours at solving big problems. So, on November 5th, let's prove that America is still the
convention here in Chicago, Illinois, and I feel like the entire week I've been very demure, very mindful, very cutesy. But ever since I saw Ian Coulter say this about Tim Walz's son, who is disabled.
Why would you send this to me?
By the
former defense secretary, former congressman, former director of the CIA.
Oh my God, I don't care about this. All right, let's just go back to it. You're right.
Childless monkey women for Trump. That's exactly what you are, because you look like the Wicked Witch of the motherfucking West. They need to throw water on your ass to make you melt. We are tired of this shit. And as Michelle Obama said earlier this week, we're no longer going high when y'all go low. We're going to drag your bitch ass to hell where your unseasoned succubus ass belongs. F you. Y'all,
What? Check out this message about the cop. Wait, this is the guy? There is no way that that's the sheriff. The sheriff that just spoke at the DNC literally went on a rescue operation with Tim Ballard's Operation Underground Railroad Group, and in 2020 was rolling with some sketchy Boogaloo adjacent guys doing DIY anti-sex trafficking rescues. That's the guy that they brought. Are they okay? Are the Democrats okay? Guys, that's Tim Ballard. The what was it? The Quiet? What the was the movie? The Sound of Freedom. The Quiet. The Sound of Freedom. So you're telling me that the Democratic Party gave space to a sheriff, not just any sheriff, but a Sound of Freedom sheriff? Oh my God. Bruh. Sheriff Chris Swanson, sheriff in the video, close friend to me in Operation Underground Railroad. He's operated with us in the field and is a true brother.
That's it. There we go. Don't think for a second that he represents who these cops are from all over the county and around this nation. We go out there to help people, not do that nonsense. There we go. Pastor Hawkins, I'm just going to tell you, we want to be with y'all for real. So I took my helmet off and laid the batons down. The only reason we're here is to make sure that you got a voice. That's it. There we go. Don't think for a second.
Bro, are you like actually, are you mentally like having issues? Like, are you okay? I don't want to say slurs, but like, you good, chatter? Why the are you sending me a Twitter link of LSF? Like, it's literally an LSF Twitter link aggregator about a dude who's like stalking me. Are you okay? Are you all right? 36 months subscriber? What the is happening? But why are you thinking it? You can't stop me from thinking it. Anyway, let's continue.
Kamala Harris.
There's a speech that Representative Rua Roman was going to deliver. Bro, there's got to be some good food that I can order around these goddamn parts, right? Like, please. Is the halal guys in Chicago good? Just heard he got kicked out when keeping it real goes wrong. I didn't actually fully get kicked out. I just got kicked out of the studio space. You need an Italian beef sandwich? Bro, I had one. It was not that good. To be fair, I did get it at like not a beef sandwich area. I don't think you can order au cheval, dude. Do not get deep dish. Try Portillo's or literally anything else. What the fuck is Portillo's? Oh, they just do hot dogs? Or they do beef sandwiches too? Portillo's is ass. Please do not do Portillo's. It's a tourist trap. Bro, I got 50,000 people in here, and it's 50,000 people, and it's like 600,000 different opinions on food. Al's beef. Is that real? Al's #1 Italian beef. Is that actually good? Yes, get that. All right, I'm going to get the big beef. Chicago's #1 Italian beef, roasted, sliced at House Daily. Oh, how do you want your beef? Dry, wet, regular, dipped, dry gravy on a side. All right, so I'm going to go with wet. Right? Got to get it wet, right? Choose toppings. Hot giardinaria, sweet peppers, American cheese. I should wet or dipped. Should I do dry gravy on the side? Because it's going to be delivered, chat. No, don't do it. I ordered that the other night. It was mid. You never even told me, bro. Dip it. No, it's delivering. I can't get it on the delivery. It's going to be too soggy. That shit's not going to travel well. I got to get it on the side. Y'all are dumb. Y'all are not thinking, bro. I'm sorry, but y'all are not thinking, bro. All right, I need cheddar cheese sauce on it, right? Is that how you do it? No. Didn't Marsh just say it was mid? Yeah, but he probably got it wet. He didn't get it on the side. That's why he got it as mid. Hot pepper and gravy on the side. Provolone of his Philly cheesesteak. No, it's Chicago. Malts? They don't have mozzarella. Is provolone American cheese, cheddar cheese, or cheddar cheese sauce? I have the peppers, chat. Shut the fuck up. Yes, I've got the hot giardinaria and a sweet peppers on it. Shut the fuck up. All right? Stop freaking out. We're talking about the cheese, dude. Do we want American? Do we want provolone? Or do we want cheddar? Or do we want cheddar cheese sauce? Shut the fuck up. Stop jerking your peanuts. Stop offering other restaurants. I don't like provolone. I'm going with my gut. I'm going with cheddar cheese sauce. I'm not a provolone fan. I like the veterans take stage at the DNC. Look.
And patriots to fight for everyone who serves.
But you asked? Yeah, I asked. I'm going to get a Chicago dog too. It.
But
Why
politicians
not?
like Donald Trump, they don't stand with us. They call patriots like Senator McCain losers. John McCain was an American hero. Show some respect. Trump's Project 2025.
Should I get a Chicago dog too? I'm going to try a Chicago
and force
dog.
VA hospitals to close across the nation. Show some respect. So, for the 18-year-old who decides to enlist, for the families like mine who prayed every night that their loved one would come home, for our troops stationed thousands of miles away, for my Marines of Lima Company, let's elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who don't just respect our service, but revere it.
Chocolate chunk cookie.
Because the veterans who defended this country aren't just the reason we can sleep at night. They're the reason we can dream. And together, we'll fight for our veterans and everyone who served our country. Thank you.
Why does he talk like that? Weeks after attacking him as Little Brian, a bad guy, disloyal, and average Governor Trump is now praising Governor Brian Kemp. Senator Vance spoke with Kemp briefly yesterday. Oh, here we go. I think there's a problem, and I don't think Democrats are recognizing it. One, Donald Trump knows he's losing, okay? And he desperately, desperately wants to win. That's number one. Number two, Democrats think they're winning, and the race is actually close, okay? I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I think that Kamala Harris, at the very least, was like in a decent. Kamala Harris was like legitimately pessimistic and skeptical about the prospect, about her prospects of winning. Like she was actually doing a good job. Not like not gloating and being careful. I don't know. This DNC, the one thing I saw, don't order ketchup for your hot dogs, a Chi-Town no-no. Shut up. I didn't. I'm so gutted that they kicked you out, my guy. Truly, it sucks to see the DNC not utilizing the power of your voice, but then you say some shit like you don't like provolone, and now I understand why the DNC booted you. Provolone is mid, dude. Cheddar is better, okay? I'm sorry. Just live with the reality that at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, and if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free, $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. You were featured in the Associated Press article. Oh, really? Live from the DNC. It could be one of your favorite online influencers. Veteran from rural North Carolina with 5 million TikTok followers, Hillbilly for Harris. The creators were invited to the DNC by convention organizers, but new significant part of digital strategy. Creators span a range of ages, backgrounds, and content specialties, often reflecting the diversity of the audiences they serve. They can be spotted throughout the United Center with phones on tripods and selfie sticks. DNC rolled out perks like creators for Kamala Lounges stocked with food and beverages alongside space. This is the one that Austin was interviewed for. Is that what he said? I'm authentically a hillbilly. Some of the content already produced on the lighter side. Hasan Piker, who has 2.7 million followers on Twitch and has been outspoken about Israel and the war in Gaza, a key dividing issue for Democrats, has been streaming his experience around the DNC footprint, showing viewers around the food truck area, and on Wednesday night, interviewing U.S. Representative Greg Casar of Texas as convention speakers took the floor behind them. Former President Trump and his GOP allies have also sought to reach online audiences, especially men, through the outreach and appearances. Under the desk. The DNC rolled out perks like creators for Kamala Lounges stocked with food and beverages alongside working space. Inside the convention hall, there's the first ever creator platform, a slightly elevated space that gives creators a spot from which they pose and post. It's kind of surreal to be sitting here surrounded by so many politicians and people with political influence that I've looked up to for so long, and then to be surrounded by other creators. It's a testament to how the media landscape has shifted and how much influence as creators we have, said Austin Show, American YouTuber and Twitch streamer with millions of followers across platforms. That is hilarious. Bro is always on. I don't know how he does it, okay? Bro is always on. Why is he? Dude, so many people are texting me watching the stream. Try Wiener Circle. Like, hella people are. Austin is so libbed up and so ready to rip at a moment's notice. Like he is always delivering a level of professionalism. He's always delivering a level of professionalism that I think is really interesting. Okay. It's wild. IRL stream at Wiener Circle would go so hard. Wiener Circle, you mean the DNC donors? Got him, dude. Thank you, chatter. You got him. Like I got the top of the hour ad break that I said I was going to serve and then I forgot to serve. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. You can say, got him, no longer actually seeing the ads if you get gifted a sub. If you're lucky, that is. The CNN feed went down. CNN feed is dead.
Reactions, and just a couple of minutes ago, that blue curtain came down, to use a Democratic parlance, a blue wall, if you will, which now blocks our ability to see what's happening backstage. And then separately, I've been getting lots of signals from people who are saying that there is a very special surprise guest, and we want to be very careful.
It's
about
Beyonce.
not
We know it
going
already.
too far. At the same time, I also want to tell you about President Biden making a phone call. He and the First Lady have.
What is this? Your reaction was legendary to what?
Stand up there and not talk about politics and not talk about policy. They talked about humanity and they talked about empathy and they shared their son's plight. They shared their grief. And
dude, oh my God. I looked so scared. Holy shit.
I thought it was amazing that they had that opportunity. It was powerful for me and opportunity to stand up there.
No wonder you guys freaked the out. It was an omen. I was low-key hyped to see the balloons fall behind you. Yeah, I don't care. Fun fact about Portillo's. It used to be a place with a handful of locations a little over a decade ago. When it got bought out by a corporation, the quality dropped substantially as they opened a bunch of new locations and made it a bona fide chain, which is why there's now a lot of Chicagoans who don't like it anymore. You were clearly trying to hide your initial disappointment, but it came off so much worse. Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize what my face looked like because I was reacting in real time to like genuinely awful news. Guys, this morning when I woke up, I spent the entire morning putting together interviews with AOC, Sean Fain, Ilhan Omar, Pramila Jayapal, and numerous others. Okay? I thought that I had an allotted studio space, which I did. It was going to be a little bit later, but it was fine. I had scheduled interviews with the pro-Palestinian delegates. I started the stream with the pro-Palestinian delegates. I talked to them. I talked to Cori Bush, which was sick. I talked to a bunch of people. And then we moved back to the studio space. We had these like interviews lined up. I missed an interview with NBC, okay, partially because of all this shit that we were doing. And you know, in that moment, everything fell apart. No Beyonce at the DNC, they're washed.
Important young voters.
No way.
But the timing's important. Let's go back to
no Beyonce at the DNC, no Hasanabi at the DNC.
Big event for Hillary Clinton right before Election Day. It did not translate into the type of win she
We are going to hear now from former Illinois Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Kinzinger describes himself as a proud conservative, but tonight he is throwing his support behind Vice President Harris.
Be in the trenches with you as part of this sometimes awkward alliance that we have to defend truth.
Yeah, I hate this. Like Adam Kinzinger, instead of a Palestinian American who's dedicated her life to the Democratic Party.
As a kid, when I was drawn to the party of Ronald Reagan, to his vision of a strong America, the shining city on a hill. I was a Republican for 12 years in Congress, and I still hold on to the label. I never thought I'd be here, but listen, you never thought you'd see me here, did you? But I've learned something about the Democratic Party, and I want to let my fellow Republicans in on the secret. The Democrats are as patriotic as us. They love this country just as much as we do. To defend American values at home and abroad as we conservatives have ever been. I was relieved to discover that because I've learned something about my party too, something I couldn't ignore. The Republican Party is no longer conservative. It has switched its allegiance from the principles that gave it purpose to a man whose only purpose is himself. Donald Trump is a weak man pretending to be strong. He is a small man pretending to be big. He's a faithless man pretending to be righteous. He's a perpetrator who can't stop playing the victim. He puts on, listen, he puts on quite a show, but there is no real strength there. As a conservative and a veteran, I believe true strength lies in defending the vulnerable. It's in protecting your family. It's in standing up for our Constitution and our democracy. That is the soul of being a conservative. It used to be the soul of being a Republican, but Donald Trump has suffocated the soul of the Republican Party. His fundamental weakness has coursed through my party like an illness, sapping our strength, softening our spine, whipping us into a fever that has untethered us from our values. Our democracy was frayed by the events of
If
January 6th.
I wanted to see a right-wing jackass
Donald-
masturbate, I go on Grindr. This guy, it's not Beyonce. Oh my God, it's Taylor Swift. It's Taylor Swift. I guess they're going to be lowering. The credentials and the media bias rating of TMZ, which literally was seen as a more credible news outlet on the media bias chart when I saw than like the Associated Press or some shit. Yeah, we know who it is. Breaking news. There's a scheduled gap in tonight's DNC schedule that the special guest is only known by a handful of people. Yeah, that's it. It's Yahya Sinwar. I am waging war on white women. F that shit. They ruined my day. Cutie's going to be sad she didn't go with you. Bro, why would she be sad? I didn't see it either. Netanyahu's plane just landed in O'Hare. Not fake news. Okay, dude. Good one. It's Miyazaki. Crazy political take going viral today. Bro, chat, literally, you get this way whenever I am not. Wait, hold on. You need this humor and you know it. Oh, you know what I need? Al's beef sandwich, bitch. And it's about to be here.
I know Kamala Harris shares my allegiance to the rule of law, the Constitution, and democracy.
I'm doing a hit on BBC tonight. Hank Piker has my full support. The DNC cannot treat you like this, my brother. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think they clap me because like of my Israel takes. Maybe, but I don't think so. Because I've been saying that shit since day one. It's probably because they were like, you know, I was yapping and I was in the, you know, I was in too good of a space for my level of yap.
If you still pledge allegiance to those principles, I suspect you belong here too. Because democracy knows no party. It's a living, breathing ideal that defines us as a nation. It's the bedrock that separates us from tyranny. And when that foundation is fractured, we must all stand together, united, to strengthen it. If you think those principles are worth defending, then I urge you.
I hate this guy, bro. Why are we? Oh, God, he's still chirping. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? What is happening right now? Like this guy got another one. Maybe it's because you said, I don't care to be here. Yeah, I said that as in like, I don't care about being inside of the DNC. I think you're experiencing that I don't care about being inside of the DNC in real time. This is my comfortable space. This is my pocket. This is when I'm in the pocket. This is when I'm like the most locked in. Okay? Like I care about covering the DNC. I don't have to be inside of the DNC to cover it. Which is true.
Kamala Gopalan Harris. But we called her Mommy. Mommy was so many things to so many people. A civil rights activist, a scientist, a devoted mother to her two little girls. But most of all, Mommy was a trailblazer who defied the odds and defined herself. And when it came to Kamala and me, Mommy had great expectations for us, but she had even greater expectations of us. She raised us to believe that we could be and do anything. And we believed her. You see, Mommy understood the power and the possibility that come with knowing and showing who you truly are. She knew we could be the authors of our own stories, just as she'd been the author of her own. Mommy's journey and the opportunity that she wanted for Kamala and me, that's a
I feel like it's a bit weird.
American story.
Right? Am I crazy or is this a bit weird?
We all have
different histories, different struggles, or different perspectives, but what binds us together is the fervent desire to be free, to fulfill our God-given potential. Kamala's entire life has been about fighting for each of us to have that freedom. And like so many Americans, Kamala knows what it's like to be underestimated and be counted out. She knows what it's like to be the underdog and yet still beat the odds. And now, she has created so much electricity, so much optimism, so much joy throughout the nation, and it is why we need her leadership in this historic moment.
Bro, Trump looks like shit.
We are living in a time when some are trying to divide us.
Oh, God.
To separate us in ways that make it difficult for us to come together. Well, look, my sister rejects that view. Where others push darkness, Kamala sees promise. Where others feel detachment, Kamala fosters connection. Where others want to drag us back to the past, my sister said...
It's pretty crazy that people are like how are they like faking the enthusiasm for this stuff? I don't know. I just like, is it good? Maybe it's just not for me. I'm not the target audience.
We have so much more in common than what separates us. She knows the measure of our success isn't just winning an election. It's about who we bring along and lift up in the process. And so as I look out at
Are we not
all of
lived
you
up
today,
anymore? I mean,
I
dude, I'm not kidding. Regardless of the accommodations, it's not even a joke. Regardless of the accommodations, like going to the DNC actually kind of like opened my eyes to a lot of things. Okay, for one, the fact that they like, after all of this pressure, they were like, nah, we're not going to let any Palestinians speak. Get the fuck out of here. They were like, no, sorry. We have a cop who literally was doing DIY, like sex trafficking operations and investigations with a right-wing nut job. Okay, that guy has to speak. We have a former Trump Republican that is like an MSNBC fan favorite. That guy has to speak. Fuck you if you're like a lifelong Democrat that happens to be Palestinian. You know what I mean? Sorry, sucks to suck. You ain't got shit. It's so racist. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. I'm sorry. It is what it is. That's just straight white supremacist ass bullshit. Okay? You can dress it up any way you want. That's American chauvinism right there. That's Western chauvinism. That is bullshit. Okay? That's gross as fuck. It's racist as fuck. It doesn't matter if the candidate is black. It's still white supremacy through and through. Okay? The Democratic Party said tonight and the day prior, we got billionaires. We're going to bring them on to the center stage. We got former Trump Republicans. We're going to bring them onto the center stage. Okay? We got psycho cops. We're going to bring them on. What? Hasanabi unironically said this? What? Anyway, it's ridiculous, dude. You got Pizzagate cops and shit out there who are, you got Border Patrol guys being like, yeah, we're going to fuck it up. We're going to fuck up the migrants. And we're putting them on the center stage, but you don't got a moment for Palestinian Americans? You don't got a moment for Palestinian Americans, dude? That's crazy. That's unacceptable. That's white supremacy, okay? Here.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, wannabe, big time, small time, shit talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
White supremacy? Come on, dude. That's a stretch. Listen up, big dog. I used a different terminology there for your stupid ass brain to handle. Okay? I'm using white supremacy so your dumb mouth breathing ass can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. It's called American jingoism. Okay? It's Western chauvinism. Do you understand what is happening here? Do you get what the Democratic Party is also playing a role? Do you understand what the Democratic Party there is doing when they say, we don't give a f-. If you're Palestinian, you shut the fuck up, okay? If you're a goddamn Palestinian, here are all the other people that are more important for us than you, okay? Literally every single person in the Democratic Party's infrastructure, and then people outside of that infrastructure, cops, border patrol agents, billionaires that are not even in the Democratic Party. You're a lifelong Democrat. You spent your whole time, you spent your whole goddamn life fighting for the Democratic Party. You're a state, you're a part of the state apparatus in your own goddamn state, okay? And they say, "F you, you're Palestinian. We don't want to hear from you," okay? Suck my dick. There is no way to look at this in any other lens, okay?
Worried about a secure retirement for themselves.
Bullshit.
Kamala will fight for you, for any one of our allies, anywhere in the world, wondering if America still has your back. Remember this, Kamala will fight for you, and when she fights, we win. Kamala's
It's
ready.
white supremacy.
Kamala's ready. The question is, are we? Are we going to stand up and fight for Kamala like she'll stand up and fight for us? All right. If you're ready, my home state of North Carolina, stand up. Stand up, Pennsylvania. Stand up, Michigan.
I'm about to be in a much better mood after eating this shit, though. Let me tell you.
Stand up, Georgia. Stand up, Nevada. Stand up, Arizona. Stand up, America. Are we going to stand up? Are we going to fight? Are we going to vote? Are we going to win? You bet we are. Let's go get them.
Governor Roy Cooper with a rallying cry for this convention hall that is about as fired up as it can get, and yet we are now entering a portion of the programming that gets us ready for the speech from Kamala Harris, a biographical video. Let's watch.
Your first grade teacher would show up at your law school graduation. It's where Kamala Harris learned what it means to be in the middle class, making every paycheck count. She was raised by a working mom who taught her about standing up for what's right and protecting the people you love.
Kamala carries the lessons of our mother, the fighting spirit of our mother, the compassion.
She was all of 5 feet tall. If you met her, you would have thought she was 7 feet tall. And our mother, if I'd ever come home complaining about anything, she wouldn't have it. The first thing she'd say is, well, just stop the complaining. Just tell me what you're going to do about it.
And since she was a young girl, Kamala Harris has been fighting for families like the ones she grew up with.
That is Kamala. She can't help herself from standing up for people and standing up for what she thinks is right. She has been that way our whole lives, being a protector.
I don't know what the is wrong with Chicago dogs, but it's more pepper than is more pepper and more pickle than dog. It makes no dang sense. I prefer a New York dog. Is there celery in this? What am I eating, a salad? What the fuck is this?
She held the big Wall Street banks accountable for fraud, winning $20 billion for California families. She took on one of the largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. And in the Senate, she fought for her constituents with the determination of the prosecutor, standing up for reproductive freedom.
Can you think of any laws that give the government the power to make decisions about the male body?
I'm not thinking of any right now, Senator.
She fought to keep our children safe from the terror of gun violence.
How many of you guys had to have a drill where you learned about how you need to hide in a closet or crouch in a corner in the event that there is a mass shooter? Look at that. Look at that.
On the Intelligence Committee, she defended our nation against foreign adversaries. And in 2020, she made history as the first woman to be elected Vice President of the United States. She cast the tie-breaking vote to deliver urgent relief to the American people during the pandemic. She beat Big Pharma to lower prescription drug costs and cap the cost of insulin. and led the fight to restore reproductive rights.
I'm
after
worried.
Roe v. Wade was overturned.
We have worked too hard and fought too long to see our daughters grow up in a world with fewer rights than our mothers.
Because she's never been afraid to stand up to powerful interests.
Sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't.
You're always
And
worried?
you need to kick that door down.
Nah. It's different.
Excuse my language.
Now, she's running for president, still fighting for families like the one
There's
she
so
grew up
much
with.
that needs to change.
Campaign is about saying we trust the people. We're saying we just want fairness. We want dignity for all people. And we are a work in progress. We haven't yet quite reached all of those ideals, but we will die.
Palestinians won't win us the election. I'm not even talking about that,
We
you fucking
believe
idiot.
in our country. We're not falling for these folks who are trying to divide us, trying to pull us apart. We know what we stand for.
I hope what happens to the Palestinian families never happens to your bitch ass family, okay? That's not even what I'm talking about. But his racist ass immediately went, the Palestinians won't win us. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, Democrats are so lucky that they're running against a party that has like forgotten how to run for office, okay? That's it. They've literally
Please
forgotten how to
welcome the
run.
Democratic
competently.
nominee for
That's it.
president, Vice President of the United States.
That's the
of
only thing that's carrying the Democratic Party, okay?
Harris.
We'll see if she talks about Palestine. I doubt it, though. I mean, she might.
These delegates who have waited for this moment to think that a month ago, no one knew what it would look like at the Democratic convention. But this is the unity and, yes, the joy that they have pieced together in short order as they were about to hear.
This beef is much better than the beef I had. It came dipped, by the way. It came dipped. But I'm gonna dip it anyway. No, Kamala will mention ceasefire. She will. You'll see. It's not going to be enough, but she guarantee will mention it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, let's get to business. Let's get to business. All right. So let me start by thanking my most incredible husband, Doug, for being an incredible partner to me, an incredible father to Cole and Ella, and happy anniversary, Dougie. So very much. To our President Joe Biden. held together. Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both.
No shit. He made her president.
And to Coach Tim Walz, you are going to be an incredible vice president. And to the delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign, your support is humbling. So, America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So, my mother, our mother, Kamala Harris, had one of her own. And I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I know she's looking down smiling. So my mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. When she finished school, she was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica. They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister Maya and me. Growing up, we moved a lot.
Donald
I will
was the goat.
always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all our belongings, ready to go to Illinois, to Wisconsin, and wherever our parents' jobs took us. My early memories of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music, Aretha, Coltrane, and Miles. At the park, my mother would say, "Stay close." But my father would say, as he smiled, "Run, Kamala, run. Don't be afraid. Don't let anything stop you."
Why is she talking about her dad?
From my earliest years, he taught me to be fearless.
This is weird.
But the harmony between
She famously
my parents
doesn't talk
did not
about his
last.
dad.
When I was in elementary school, they split up. And it was mostly my mother who raised us. Before she could finally afford to buy a home, she rented a small apartment in the East Bay. In the Bay, you either live
Her dad's
in the
alive.
hills or the flatlands. We lived in the flats. A beautiful working class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers.
Her dad's alive, just not in her life.
Lawns with pride. My mother, she worked long hours, and like many working parents, she leaned on a trusted circle to help raise us. Mrs.
Her
Shelton,
dad's a Marxist
who
professor
ran
at
the
Stanford.
daycare below us and became a second mother. Uncle Sherman, Aunt Mary, Uncle Freddie, Auntie Chris. None of them family by blood, and all of them family by love. Family who taught us how to make gumbo, how to play chess, and sometimes even let us win.
Double chunk chocolate cookie.
Family who loved us, believed in us, and told us we could be anything and do anything.
I don't know why people cry
They instilled
at
in
these
us
speeches.
the
Like, I genuinely
values
don't understand
they
it.
personified. Community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated, with kindness, respect, and compassion. My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent. And as the eldest child, I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health, and she taught Maya and me a lesson that Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it. Do something about it.
Imagine if somebody's up there and you share 100% of your opinions with. I mean, there are people whose opinions I align with quite a bit.
And she also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote. I grew up immersed in the ideals of the civil rights movement. My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley. Those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America.
Her dad is literally a Marxist.
So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer.
And hates her for this reason.
When it came time to choose the type of law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend, Wanda. She was sad at school, and there were times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right, and she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor, to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice.
It's a pretty solid speech. It's better than I expected.
When I had a case, I charged it not in the name of the victim, but in the name of the people. For a simple reason. In our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
I think it's because the cookie's good. 5 booms.
And I would often explain this to console survivors of crime, to remind them no one should be made to fight alone. We are all in this together. And every day, in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge, and I said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people. And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. And so, on behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks,
Unless
on
it's
behalf
Palestinian.
of my mother and everyone
Except for
who has
Palestinians.
ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
That's it. I'm surprised she didn't bring up ceasefire. I was wrong. I thought she would have brought up ceasefire.
And with this election, our nation with this election has a precious,
It's not over. This was the intro. Yeah.
opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward. Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can
Palestine.
always trust me to put country above party and self.
Oh, never mind. She's talking about Republicans.
Sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections to the peaceful transfer of power.
Oh, she's just talking to Republicans. And then talking about January 6th. Never mind.
I will be a president who unites us around our highest aspirations. A president who leads and listens, who is realistic, practical, and has common sense, and always fights for the American people. From the courthouse to the White House, that has been my life's work. As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner Bill of Rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn. But we never gave up, because the future is always worth fighting for. And that's the fight we are in right now, a fight for America's future. Fellow Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol, where they assaulted law enforcement officers.
Oh, they're yelling, I think.
When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames. And now, for an entirely different set of crimes. He was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans and separately found liable for committing sexual abuse. And consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution. Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States, not to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself. And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors, and its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and childcare for our children. America, we are not going back. And we are charting a new way forward. To a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. And I'll tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because, as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care and housing and groceries. We will provide access access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders.
Oh, thank God.
We will end America's housing shortage and protect
Thank God.
Social Security.
We're going to help
and
entrepreneurs.
Medicare.
We're going to deregulate
Now
housing.
compare that to Donald Trump, because I think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight for the middle class. He doesn't actually fight for the middle class. Instead, he fights for himself and his billionaire friends. And he will give them another round of tax breaks that will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt. And all the while, he intends to enact what in effect is a national sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices on
This campaign's off the rails, brother. I don't know who the f is writing these speeches. The deficit, bro, the budget.
Well, instead of a Trump tax hike,
Are these guys on
pass
crack?
a
What's next, bro?
middle-class tax.
Is Kamala Harris going to do a NATO speech? What's happening?
Americans. Friends, I believe America
The speech is all right. Energy's all right.
Truly be prosperous.
Her background, like her build up, her own personal biography was good.
Able to make their own decisions about their own lives, especially on matters of heart and home.
I'm a Democrat who appreciates the speech. Also, I'm a Republican.
Too many women are not able to make those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom. And now he brags about it. In his words, quote, "I did it and I'm proud to have done it," end quote. Well, I'll tell you, over the past 2 years, I've traveled across our country, and women have told me their stories. Husbands and fathers have shared theirs. Stories of women miscarrying in a parking lot, developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children.
She's pushing to the middle, and I don't care if it's the winning strategy. It's not. It never is. You're literally like swapping out Biden with Kamala was not pushing to the middle. Picking Tim Walz was not pushing to the middle. Everything she's done so far that created this momentum was not pushing to the middle. It was pushing left. So why the f would it ever be like good time to push middle? Like that's not a thing.
This is what's happening in our country because of Donald Trump. And understand, he is not done. As a part of his agenda, he and his allies would limit access to birth control.
I think this speech is way too Trump focused. This is 2016. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is Hillary Clinton. What is happening?
Congress. And get this. Get this. He plans to create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. Simply put, their minds. And one must ask, why exactly is it that they don't trust women? Well, we trust women. We trust women. And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. In this election,
I'm being a little bit too loud.
many other fundamental freedoms are at stake. The freedom to live safe from gun violence in our schools, communities, and places of worship. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and live free from the pollution that fuels the climate crisis. and the freedom that unlocks all the others the freedom to vote.
He said he agrees with my politics, though.
With this election, we finally have the opportunity
He said he loves my
to
passion.
pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the freedom
And agrees with my politics. But he thinks like this is like a double room.
And let me be clear.
And my voice
let me be
is just
clear. After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border. Last year, Joe and I brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans to write the strongest border bill in decades. The Border Patrol endorsed it.
Oh.
But Donald Trump believes a border deal would hurt his campaign. So he ordered his allies in Congress to kill the deal. Well, I refuse to play politics with our security, and here is my pledge to you. As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law. I know we can live up to our proud heritage as a nation of immigrants and reform our broken immigration system. We can create an earned pathway to citizenship and secure our border. And America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
What the f? Yo.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Bro, what? Yo, she's crazy.
I will make sure
What is happening?
that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the...
Bro, she said we're going back to Iraq. She was like, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be real crazy about the military.
Threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She's doing the NATO speech. Oh my God. She's doing the NATO speech. Oh my God. Oh my God.
5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade. I helped mobilize a global response, over 50 countries, to defend against Putin's aggression. And as president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. With respect to the war in Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock, because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done.
I'm out. I'm tapped.
And let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself.
Oh, I'm super out. I'm super out.
Always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7, including unspeakable sexual violence and the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time, What has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. So many innocent lives lost. Desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that
horrific, disgusting rape that Hamas did.
Released, the suffering in Gaza ends,
But also, it's just it's really sad what's happening in Gaza.
their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
Nah. I mean, obviously she brought up ceasefire in Gaza, so I was right, but no way she would have avoided it.
I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. Because, you know, they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself. And as president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs. So fellow Americans, I love our country with all my heart. Everywhere I go, in everyone I meet, I see a nation that is ready to move forward, ready for the next step in the incredible journey that is America. I see an America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation and inspired the world, that here, in this country, anything is possible, that nothing is out of reach.
I don't think protesting is going to fix this.
Where we care for one another.
This is like kind of crazy. This is just straight up like blanket Joe Biden. Like, it's weird. It literally, like, this is Joe Biden. This is Joe Biden's speech being delivered by a black woman. That's it. Like, that's the only difference.
All of us to succeed. You know, our opponents in this race are out there every day denigrating America, talking about how terrible everything is. Well, my mother had another lesson she used to teach. Never let anyone tell you who you are. You show them who you are. Let us show each other and the world who we are and what we stand for. Freedom, opportunity, compassion, dignity, fairness, and endless possibilities. We are the heirs.
I don't know what's going on.
To the democracy.
I think it's over. Like the momentum is gone,
world.
I think.
And on behalf of our children and our grandchildren,
I think the momentum is gone. The media will still push it as though it's beautiful, but like it'll be like a reaction to Doug Emhoff.
we must be worthy of this moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us
I'm seeing
done.
signals. I'll tell you exactly what I mean in a second.
Optimism
After the speech is
and
over.
faith to fight for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American.
Dude, I hate this. This like false, this fake patriotism, I hate it. It's like, I don't know why the Democratic Party is like trying to do fake patriotism and also being like the war party.
Let's get out there, let's vote for it, and together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told. Thank you. God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all.
No, everybody needs to calm down. This has nothing to do with like them kicking me out or anything. Okay, they didn't. And you guys need to shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Okay, who the fuck am I? I'm just some random dumbass. Okay, calm down. And I'm not being humble when I say that. I'm nothing in the grand scheme of things. And you shouldn't ever operate on that front anyway. You should be thinking about what she's saying. Okay, and it's really important. I feel like Chad and you are overreacting. She's obviously playing the donors being anti-war while good isn't profitable. No, dude, you're delusional. Are you crazy? You think she's like a secret peaceful dove? What? When has she ever? Kamala Harris has been in politics for, I wouldn't say that long, okay? She was vice president for 4 years. Before that, she was a senator for a couple of years under the Trump administration in the state of California. But beyond that, she's been a cop her whole life, okay? She has very little policy. She has very little policy backing. That's why I've been saying, I'm in a holding pattern. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm in a holding pattern. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to wait and see what she does. I'm going to wait and see what she does. Okay? This speech is supposed to be the moment that she shows you what she is and who she is and what she's going to do. Okay? That speech was literally a nothing will fundamentally change speech. Where the fuck is the joy? Where the fuck is the hope? Where the fuck is the goddamn momentum? She says she's going to have the most lethal army of all time. Are you out of your mind? Are you insane? Who the fuck are we? What are we doing? This is the Democratic Party, chat. This is not the Republican Party. Why the fuck are they turning into the 90s Republicans? I'm losing my mind. I have to whisper scream because I don't want to wake up my goddamn neighbor. Wake the fuck up. Maybe some of you get so duped by brat memes and you also are like, well, it's a younger, more dynamic candidate and that's all I wanted. I want more, okay? The only reason why I was even remotely hopeful or excited about this prospect was not because Kamala Harris is a young black Indian woman in comparison to Joe Biden. Okay. I don't give a fuck about the aesthetics. Okay. Most people don't give a fuck about the aesthetics. Diversity without experience from coming from that background that translates the progressive policy positions doesn't mean dick. How many times have we had this goddamn conversation? Okay. You don't want a black person in power for the sheer virtue of them being black. You want them in power because they know what white supremacy is. They've experienced it, they've lived it their whole lives, and you expect them to fight against that sort of thing. That's the reason why diversity is important, okay? And I'm not saying she hasn't lived it, by the way. Don't come in here and behave in this smug fashion. I'm not saying that at all. Barack Obama experienced it too, okay? Doesn't matter. When you get to that position of power, if you drop all that shit, then what good are you? What difference does this make? It's just pure marketing at that point. The reason why I was excited, potentially, is because the very fact that they dropped Biden was uncharacteristic for the Democratic Party. They run scared all the time, okay? You're trying to say she's a DEI hire? Stop trying to put racism in my mouth as I'm literally talking about white supremacy, you brain-dead losers in the chat. Oh my God, liberals at one speed. Liberals at one speed, bro. One speed. Holy shit. For a brief moment, she had a lot of juice and a lot of momentum. For a lot of people, that juice and momentum came from the fact that she's young. Okay, she's younger and not a carcass. But for me, I thought, wow, the Democrats are behaving in a competent way. Okay? The Democrats are behaving in a competent way, like a competent party that wants to win. Okay? Good. That's good. Then something amazing happened where she locked herself in with a yokel, okay, who comes from a working class teacher background, a guy with no aspirations for higher office, a guy from the middle of the country who had a progressive policy track record. That made me go, oh my God, they're really going to own this shit. Okay, they're going to own this shit. They are going to own being a party that wants to help people. Maybe that might not translate to actual policies down the line. There's the Obama equation of it all, running as a progressive and then being a neoliberal when in office. But even then, on the messaging front, they had changed something. It seemed like they had changed something. Tonight has solidified my opinion that nothing has fundamentally changed. Okay? Nothing. Their housing policy is deregulating. Their housing policy is deregulating housing. That's what they say. I don't know the full details of it yet. I don't know what that's going to look like. It's not just like abolishing single family housing zoning restrictions. If that's what you EMBs are thinking, I don't think that's the only thing that they're saying. Trump is also running on deregulating housing to open up more housing units. Okay? This is objectively a neoliberal policy. Okay? They're running on tax cuts and deregulation. It's crazy. And beyond that, in terms of the foreign policy, the Democrats don't even run to the right. They own the right now. Everybody knows that Republicans are reactionary monsters who always love waging war and continuing death and destruction. The Democrats also are absolutely that party. There was a time and place where the Democrats at least used to attempt we are the peaceful party. We're the party of peace attitude. That has changed. It's gone. It's done. They're not even doing we are running to the left of the Republicans no more. Okay? They're not doing that, which is so stupid because Americans benefit from America being a hegemonic superpower, 800 military bases. All of that translates to, beautifully affordable treats that you can consume at a moment's notice. That much is true. But Americans don't understand that. When it comes down to it, on the messaging front, they see themselves as peaceful people. They see themselves as reluctantly having to wage war around the world. Okay? That's why Trump has run as the peace candidate in 2016 and won against Hillary Clinton, who he presented as a pro-Iraq war lover. He won in 2016 with that. And then 4 years of Trump waging wars, okay, he still said, I didn't start any new wars, and I assassinated our enemies. 2024, after Russia invaded Ukraine and after Israel destroyed all aspects of civilian life in Gaza, Donald Trump is once again running on the peace candidacy. Okay? We are a dying empire. The Democrats have to figure this out as quickly as they possibly can. If they run on, we are the pro-war party, we are going to have the most lethal military of all time, they're not going to win any of those jingoistic voters because those dumbasses are voting Republican every election anyway. Whereas Trump gets to present himself as a moderate, a peaceful dove over and over again. It's ridiculous. The only part of this that was like truly progressive was abortion. The only part of this speech that was truly progressive was on the issue of abortion, protecting abortion. Kamala Harris being a woman obviously automatically is like a massive W on that front. Okay? Please stop whispering. I'm begging you. Just scoot the mic back and speak. Okay? Get banned. 21-month subscriber. Enjoy that perma. What a weirdo. Technically not progressive since we had it before too. You're so sensitive. Okay? You get a perma too. I'm back on my perma train. Pandering for the undecided voter. What are we talking about? She went right wing on the border, talking about how lethal America's. If the point of this convention is to get hardline ideological nativist Zionists who are also open to vote for Democrats on our side, open to voting for Democrats on our side, it will work. We'll see how many people that will be. I've never seen so much. I have not seen this much bloodlust from a Democratic candidate since Hillary Rodham Clinton when they're running for office. Okay? That was insane. Bro, she said we are going to have the most like hard-dicked military. It's going to be the most lethal force on the planet. She said we're going to have the most lethal army. Y'all are crazy. Seems our British friends are enjoying the show. I said, oh shit, this is so bad. Dude, this is not the election cycle to be doing this. Following the threats to Yemen and Iran with libs chanting USA, USA, it was genuinely, I'm going to say a couple things, okay? A lot of people consider me to be a mealy-mouthed, soft-ass, pussy, peace-loving baby, okay? I know. You want to be hard-dicked. You want America's hard cock to be shoved in the asses of every third world nation, okay? You love that. Makes you feel good. Makes you feel like you're doing something. You know, I saw those tweets. Operation Prosperity Guardian. Yemen's going to learn today why Americans don't have health care. It's like, dude, you're advocating against your own best interests, you dumb fuck. Lasering a 14-year-old child in Yemen is not a good use of your own tax dollars, you absolute morons.